Welcome to Martini Time on this beautiful Saturday here in Blackstone, the center of the world. But then you too are the center of the world. So, it's been a been watching the March on Washington today, and it was very heart-touching, particularly some of those junior orators talking. My God, these, they're all junior Martin Luther Kings. Where do they come from to speak like that with such passion and articulate passion to 500,000 people? That was, very interesting, I thought, But let me read my house builder. Usually I wait until I get tired of it. I'm going to read the Buddha's house building statement made at his awakening. And today something's about that. We'll connect this up. Through the round of many births I roamed without reward, without rest, seeking the house builder. Now let's look at this in reference to our march today against gun violence. Now suppose the NRA and the whole political movement that this is the key pin to, you see. The NRA is just a gun organization, but it's also the kingpin of a political party, you see. And they don't want to, if you pull one gun out, you pull the kingpin out. That's the whole thing. You got this house of cards, you got this thing set up, and it all works together. And if you start pulling pieces out of it, it's going to go blah, 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 So don't take one gun away. You say one gun right. Or the slippery slope, and all the house will come down. So through the round of many births, now what are the many births? Well, the deaths of students, the deaths of children being killed in American streets. Painful is birth again and again. Painful is this shooting. Once again, every time I turn around, we all have that experience. Every time you turn around, there's another shooting, another birth. A birth of another shooting, you see. And then we go through the whole grieving ritual of that shooting. And then just when you think, another one, you see. Painful is birth again and again. That's what he's talking about. House builder you've seen. So these kids have seen the house builder. You will not build a house again on guns. All your rafters, all your triggers, your rifle barrels, your ridgepole destroyed, gone to the unformed. Poof. The mind has come to the end of craving. Isn't that interesting? The more I read, every time I read that, I get a different reference. And so the reference today is, of course, the house builder of the NRA and all of its defenders. And then, of course, you include that, you see, with the other parts of the value correlation, and you get a monolithic, tightly built political party that, when mobilized, is like a tank. It's like a tank, you see. It just plows over everything because everyone is marching in lockstep. Everyone is saying the same words. Everyone is doing the same. Newt Gingrich designed this, created this back in the Clinton years when he organized the Republicans as a redcoat army who marched in the lockstep of talking points. So whatever you saw a Republican politician on the TV, they all said the same talking points. And you didn't see the connecting the dots. All you saw was each individual speaking the word, you see. So it must be true. They're all saying it. And so that created the modern movement conservatism. And it's a media-driven political party because the media is always sticking a mic in front of some politician or somebody, and they all speak the same talking points. They're even written and handed out by the think tanks. This is what we're going to say now. So it's a redcoat army marching in lockstep, you see. And the Democrats are kind of like tribes. There's this tribe and that tribe. They're not really organized. So the redcoats always defeated the tribes. The redcoats always, just like the redcoats defeated Braveheart, you see. So the tribal people who are not marching in lockstep, they're just a rabble of bravery, you see, when they meet with the phalanx of redcoats marching in lockstep, they can't break it. They can't break the ranks. They can't create chaos and make the redcoat army turn and go, ah, you see. So that's the way warfare works, and the movement conservatism was turned into that, and it's been pretty effective. Well, today I think, we may be, I don't know, we may be witnessing something different. People seem to think it feels different. It certainly felt different when you listen to these kids talk. We haven't had a generation like this since the 60s. The generation of the 60s flamed out, so to speak, in the 70s. And so they got fragmented, and they got disintegrated into self-serving drugs and music, but they lost their political spear point because the war was over. So it was a single issue. Get rid of the war. War went. Everything just turned back in on itself to get high. Tune in, turn on, turn out. So that then disintegrated and brought about the law and order conservative movement, Reagan, Nixon coming back in, restoring law and order, and getting these hippies under control, getting this youth under control. Well, the youth, that youth is now the aging baby boomers. And so there's Generation X came next, and they've been pretty much they grew up on Atari and the first video game. So they've pretty much been, they really got turned into digital, electronics and everything, and music. But they didn't become political. And then the millennials, the next big generation, and they tend not to vote. May change a little now. They seem to be revving up some. Bernie Sanders tapped into them. But this generation has a single issue. And it's cross-platform. And it's coalescing with women's issue, sexual abuse in the workplace, being treated equal rights for women, and, of course, gay movements, equal right for gay, LGBT, and, of course, the older civil rights movement, the Black Lives Matter, you see. So all of these tribes are coalescing, but this is the latest tribe. And it's the biggest. I was reminded when I was listening to this today of, remember the Jurassic Park and the scene where they're sitting having coffee and the coffee cup's rattling. And there's this thump, thump. Something is coming. Something big is coming. So the Republicans ought to be feeling the fear and trembling of the coffee cup in Jurassic Park. They should be feeling that, because something's coming. We don't know what, but something's coming. So what else did I feel today was I've been writing about transcendence. So this, in the theological definitions of God, God is both immanent and transcendent, whatever that means. Immanent means here. Transcendent means not here, beyond here, to something greater. So when you have a transcendent experience, you are transformed because Your little isolated world of being here is suddenly open to something greater coming in. It might be through art. It might be a personal, mystical, or spiritual experience. But there is an opening to something that is beyond you, that is real. You feel it. It's not a thought. It's not a philosophical system or a new religion or anything. All that can get caught. But when you have a transcendent experience, people want to catch it. That's how religions get started. There is a transcendent prophet, a Jesus or a Moses, and then the religion catches his transcendence so people can come and drink from it after he's gone, you see. So the transcendent experience is literally transforming. But then mankind, humans, we want to catch it, store it, so generations coming after can drink from that transcendence, you see. And now we have a church or a political party, you see. So what was the transcendence in this movement today? I felt this was a transcendent movement. It wasn't a religious movement in the sense that you have people wearing crosses and hanging Episcopalian signs or whatever, you see. But it was certainly felt transformative. It certainly felt transcendent. The bigger than individuals. And I'm sure these kids felt that. That's what's activating them. That's what's energizing them, is the transcendence of belonging into something that's greater than them. And this something that's greater than them is going to change history, they believe. And it may. It's already had some steps, you see. So this is a feeling of power. This is a feeling of one voice that is many. And of course, Newt Gingrich and their conservative movement felt this. We speak as one voice, you see. And we're going to change liberalism. We're going to change America. Put it on the right course, you see. So all these transcendent movements have that feeling of changing, putting people, humanity, us, America, on the right course. We're off course now. We've kind of lost our way. We're going, well. This moves us. So there's this readjustment, you see. Transcendence is an adjustment that puts us back in alignment with life, puts us back in alignment with the greater being, even though we can't perceive the greater being, we feel it, and we want to get in alignment with it, you see. This is the basis for religion. Religion basically has many different aspects to it, but one of them is to get in alignment with God. But then if you make God into an idol, you see, this is an idol in the sense that it's a symbol. So if you just get in alignment with the symbol, and then the symbol has doctrine to hold it, you see, you're just getting in alignment with some form. You're getting in alignment. You're getting in here, let me see. So there's transcendence. It's like something happens in you or in the world or in your people that taps into transcendence, and there is a wellspring that comes up of life energy, and it comes up through the person who tapped into it, like the Jesus or the Moses or Martin Luther King or whatever you want to call it. It flows out of that personality, that charismatic personality, that Billy Graham. It flows out of that. But he dies. He's impermanent. So you put a bowl there, you see, and you catch it. And you put it in a bowl. And now people worship the bowl. The spring is gone. So in time, you begin to worship God as a bowl. And you put flowers down at the bowl. And you put water in it, and you come and drink from the water, you see. But the transcendence is gone. Nobody's moved. Nobody's transformed, you see. You become a membership of bowl worshipers. And the bowl is God. And then you go to the Bible and talks about false idols. Well, there you are, you see. So this happens over and over. The guru is there. I know, you see that guy up in the corner right there? All right. Well, he was a transcendent being for me. I mean, he when I was with Muktananda, I felt the energy flow. You know, felt something. It was real. It wasn't imaginary. It was transformative. It changed my life. It realigned my life. It realigned my life. I'd gotten divorced and I was wandering in the world. I had lost everything, family and everything. So when I met him, I got a realignment. And I got remarried. Same woman. I failed at marriage. Then I failed at divorce and got remarried. You see, there I am. This was in South Fallsburg in 78. I can't have time to put this down. So yes, when you get when you hook up with a transmitter, your life realigns. There's an adjustment. There's a big piece out now, or a big Netflix thing about Rajneesh in the wild country in the Oregon. You know, well, for those people in that bowl, in other words, they created a bowl, and then they became enclosed in the bowl. So that's what happens when transcendence gets put in a bowl. You jump in that water, but then you get enclosed in the bowl and start worshiping the bowl. It can be the guru. It can be the saint. So the transcendence is something that's always open. It's never closed. You can't bottle it. You can't put it in a bowl. So what we do, you see, is we get into a bowl system: Episcopals, Methodists, Baptists, Evangelicals, Jews, whatever the bowl is, you see. So we get in there and we swim around in that bowl and drink the holy water of that bowl, you see, believing that we have transcendence, that the water will baptize us into something greater than we thought we were. Will hook us up to God. Will hook us up to alignment. But it doesn't, because the bowl is form. It's immanent. The transcendence is gone. The symbols of transcendence, like this is a symbol of transcendence, gets put in the bowl. So the symbol then directs you back into the bowl. You don't break out into the open. You don't break out of the pasture. You don't break out of the fences of yourself. You don't break out of your mind, out of your thought, out of your worry loops. You don't break out. You just go around and around in the bowl, like my wife's making a cake. She's just stirring up the thing, you see. So the transcendence, you see, can never be caught in a bowl. It's like your romantic love. You ever try to catch romantic love in a bottle? We call that bottle marriage. Try to catch the romance in a marriage. What happens? It goes. My romance went away. Now I'm stuck in this bowl with this idiot. So I like that. So romance, love is transcendent. Art, creativity is the artist has a transcendent creative art insight. He creates a work of art. He creates a beautiful bowl, you see. Oh, what a beautiful bowl, you see. And then he tries to reproduce it because it's sold. People liked it. I'll make more bowls. But he can't do it. He's lost the transcendence, you see. His writing dried up. So immanence without the transcendence dries up into form, which is impermanent and will die. But the transcendence itself, you see, is eternal. You can't kill transcendence because it has no form. And I think this is the whole point behind the message of Jesus Christ, you see. is the transcendence, but that transcendence has been put into a religion. And now the religions are all dying, because whenever you go to a church, everybody's got gray hair like me. The youth, they're out in the streets. They're having their transcendent moment with a cause. Now, some religions, the evangelical created a false cause, I would say a false cause. There's a church here in town, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to go to abortion marches and picket abortion clinics, you see. These are causes. They get the passions juiced up. The Jehovah's Witnesses have a cause, and they go knock on doors. The Mormons, you got to go out there and have a cause. Keeps your energy going, you see. Keeps the transcendence, the feeling of flow, transcendence going, you see. But it's all in a bowl. It's all in a bowl, you see. So the only way to keep the transcendence going is to find the wellspring within you. Because whatever group you get into that you think is transcendent, is going to open you up, there'll be a temporary opening, but it will turn into a bowl. And you'll begin to drown in whatever's in that bowl. So the only path that is lasting, that has any truth for you, is to find the transcendence in yourself, which means you don't live or depend on any bowls for your transcendence. You always stay open to the new. You always stay open to the mystery. And you work at that. You keep the ice from forming on the pipes. You keep the heat of awareness on your pipes so they don't freeze. You work at it, and that's called a spiritual practice. It's the practice of transcendence, of keeping it open, keeping alive, never freezing up, keeping the pipes clean. So the water flows out of you into your community, into your marriage, into yourself, you see. Thanks for dropping in.